Hey, this is Coach Dez here. I'm was 4 for 6 in my picks last week, but I just want to kind of go over some things real quick. So, for the Washington versus the Buccaneers, I said that they will have 32 rushing yards. They had 33. I said for passing, they will be 22 for 33. They were 24 for 35. But as you can see, they did not hit that mark. They only did a total of 350 total yards. Buccaneers, they didn't even show up in the second half. Passing, rushing, it was supposed to be 29. They did 25. And as you can see, their total average is normally 416 yards. They only did a total of 284 yards. They did not show up for this game at all. And I think they thought because he was a rookie and they were playing at home, they had home field advantage. So I'm going to show you what what came through for me without trying to interrupt things. So I said the score was going to be 7-7. It was actually 0-3. First quarter, second quarter should have been 7-7 or halftime 13-13. It was actually 10-7. So the 7 did come through in the second and third quarter for the Buccaneers, and 10 points was scored by the Washington in the fourth quarter, which I said 8.9. So the score was 23-20. I said that Washington, he will be sacked in the second quarter. He was sacked in the second quarter. I said the Buccaneers will be sacked in the third quarter. He was sacked in the third quarter. I said that the Buccaneers will have a fumble in the fourth quarter. He had a fumble in the first quarter. So now we're going to go to the Vikings versus the Rams, which I woke up to this game thinking I'm looking at last week's game. Oh my God, if the score wasn't similar to week 18 game, I thought, what the world? They didn't show up at all. Did not show up at all. So for the Vikings, I have that one quarter where they did 58 yards, and they averaged 57.4 yards for the fourth quarter. Same thing. I'm going to show you what they did. So the Vikings only scored 6 points in the third quarter, and they matched it. 6 points. That's what they averaged in the third quarter. They actually did that. I said that the Vikings will be sacked in the second quarter along with the interception. They had 4 sacks in the second quarter along with 1 interception. I said the Rams will be sacked in the second quarter. They were actually sacked in the second quarter. I said the Vikings will have will be sacked in the fourth quarter. He had 3 sacks in the fourth quarter. So with that being said, we're going to flip this over so you can see the other outcomes of the games so that I can get started with the divisional playoffs. So just excuse me for a minute while I flip this. Yeah, I know. So maybe I'll just erase it. Find the time. So where are we at? So I know. Okay. So I have the Chargers versus the Texans. Chargers didn't show up. Well, they did, but no, they didn't. So I said for the passing yards on the Charger, it will be 20 and 32. It was actually 14 and 32. But look at the rushing yards, 50. 50 rushing yards. That is crazy. The Texans, I had for passing 21 for 35. They were very close, 22 for 33, but it should have been 261 231.8 passing yards. He did 261, but that's because the Chargers didn't show up. So let's look at what they were supposed to have done and didn't, what I said they was going to do. So I said the Chargers will have a sack in the first quarter. They had a sack in the first quarter. This is my actual. I said, because this is projection, Texans will have a sack and a fumble in the first quarter. They had a sack and a fumble in the first quarter. I said the Texans will have a sack in the second quarter. He had a sack in the second quarter. I said the Texans will have a interception in the third quarter. They had a interception in the third quarter. I said the Texans and the Chargers will have a sack in the fourth quarter. The Chargers had 2 in the fourth quarter. The Texans had 1 in the fourth quarter. So yes, there, it is crazy, but it happens. So now, the next team that did not show up was the Steelers versus the Ravens. Okay. So, I had the Steelers 19 for 31 in total passing. They had 20 for 30 for passing. I had the Ravens 6 or 7 for 11 for 89.5 yards. Okay. In the second quarter, they were 7 for 7 for 87 yards. So let's look at what I projected on them. Okay. So Ravens will have 7 points in the third quarter. They had 7 points in the third quarter. I said the final score should be about 28-29. They had 28 points. I said that the Steelers will have a sack in the first quarter. They had a sack in the first quarter. I said the Ravens will have a sack and a fumble in the first quarter. They just had the fumble in the first quarter. I said that the Ravens will have a sack in the third quarter. They had a sack in the third quarter. I said that the Steelers will have a sack in the fourth quarter. They had a sack in the fourth quarter. And I did pick them Ravens to win by 7. But as you can see, they won by 14. So now, moving on to the next one. The Broncos versus the Bills. Now, I had said that the only thing that showed up that stood out to me was the Bills passing game. They averaged 48.6 yards in the first quarter. They actually did 45, so that was close enough. That's about as close as I was going to get in that game. So with this, I said the Bills will have 31 points. They had 31 points in this game. I said that the Bills will be sacked in the second quarter. They were sacked in the second quarter. I said the Broncos will throw an interception in the fourth quarter. They threw an interception in the fourth quarter. Now, the Broncos was really not that big on being sacked. I was not expecting this many sacks. And yes, I expected 2 sacks. And yes, he was sacked twice, but they didn't come in the quarter that I thought they would come in. So yes, they didn't show up either. So that's something to think about when you place your bets. Now, the reason why I say this one for last is because this game here, okay, look, I knew both quarterbacks were not 100%, but if you truly wanted to win this game, you should have tested the quarterback. I would have rushed 6, 2 off the edges. And even if they try to run the ball, you're right there. He's going to get tackled in the backfield. You make the quarterback run out of the pocket and let him throw the ball. Because he didn't throw that much. So I'm going to show you. So the Packers was, I said 19 for 30 for 236 yards. They were 20 for 33 for only 195 yards. I said that the Eagles passing, 4 for 6. They were 6 for 9 for 39 yards in the first quarter, because that's what they average. They put up 39 yards. Now, rushing total, I said they averaged 37 rushes for 179 yards. They actually did 34 for 169 yards. But look at their passing. 121 yards. 121 yards. That's it. For passing. So you know he wasn't up to himself. He was not ready to play. I even said that. I said he hasn't been hit in 3 weeks. So let's look at this. Okay, I said Packers average 7.6 points in the fourth quarter. They did 7. Eagles averaged 6 points in the third quarter. They did 6. I said that the Eagles will be sacked in the second quarter. He was sacked in the second quarter. I said the Eagles would be sacked in the third quarter. He was sacked in the third quarter. The Packers will be sacked in the fourth quarter. He was sacked in the fourth quarter. So, again, if you are playing quarterbacks that are not at 100%, test them. That's all you can do. Test them. Rush 6. Let the corners and the safeties stay out there to guard the wide receivers. And you have your outside linemen. So if Barkley runs, he's tackled in the backfield by 1 or 2 players. Again, this man was not tested at all. And now that he's got the feel of the game under his belt, he's going to be more healthier to play come this Sunday. So with that being said, peace out.